Okay, everybody, we'll go ahead and get started tonight. Thanks for joining us. Appreciate you coming. With that, I'm going to announce a couple other guest speakers that we have coming up. In general, just as sort of some reminders, make sure to keep yourself muted unless you're raising your hand to ask a question. To Steve here, you can also ask questions in chat. Raising your hand and asking is a little bit better, though. It helps us to see it a little faster, so we'd appreciate that if you can. We do have some other guest speakers coming up. Next week, we have our virtual workplace mental health with NAMI. It's really important, actually, if you work in a remote setting, to take care of your mental health. So that's a really good one. Sonny Fishback is returning on, let's see, when is he returning? He's returning on the 14th of April to talk more about Svelte Kit, actually. This is a part 2 to his last week's introduction to Svelte. And then Charles Kaiser is coming on April 21st to finish up his talk on cybersecurity with vanishing point countermeasures. So kind of what do you do about all these cyber threats that are happening? Because most of it last time was just about the threats. This is about responses to those threats. So it should be good, pretty good talk. Without too much else, I want to introduce Steve Williams. He's an IT resource manager with the Cincinnati Insurance Companies. And that's pretty much it. With just sort of turn it over to Steve. Hey, Steve.
Thank you, David. Appreciate that. I'll present a slide deck. It's about a 8 to 10 slide deck. Pretty straightforward. It'll be relatively quick. If you want to ask questions during it, please feel free. Otherwise, you can wait till the end of the oh, now it says that something went wrong. Hang on. Try that again. Now it says I can't share my screen.
Interesting. If that continues, you may leave and then return. That sometimes does fix it.
Okay.
I'll
drop off and then I'll get back on.
Sounds good.
Be back in a sec. Thank you.
Right now, you're still muted.
How about now?
Yep, I can hear you just fine.
There we go. Let me try presenting one more time here. It says, can't share your screen. Something went wrong when screen sharing.
It could also be a permissions problem. Sometimes that is an issue with Google Meet.
Is there anything else I can do?
Looking at my settings as well. At the moment, you can send me the slideshow if you'd like, and I can present. Yep, actually, Stephanie just said that. So I can also do that if that helps out.
Let me try one more time. I'm going to leave and come back in. Let me try one more time.
Sure.
Thank you. Can you hear me now?
Sure can.
Let's try this one more time. Still won't let me do it. Okay. I'll just run through it. I'll just speak to it. You don't necessarily need to see the slides. They're not that compelling anyways. But anyways,
Fair enough.
so the first slide is where your journey begins, and that's obviously with Cincinnati Insurance. So like David said, I'm an IT resource manager with Cincinnati Insurance. We're located in a suburb of Cincinnati called Fairfield. It's where our headquarters is. From an IT standpoint, we don't really go to headquarters anymore. Back in 2021, we were allowed to go remote, and we've stayed remote ever since then. And our plans are to stay remote for the foreseeable future. About 95% of our IT staff is remote. They like it that way. Obviously, I like it that way. If you can tell, this is my office behind me right here. I'm at home. I work from home every day, Monday through Friday. The only times I go into the HQ is if there's a particular resource need that I need to meet somebody in person. But most of the time I work from home every day. I like it personally because I think we're highly effective at home. We have less distractions at home than we did in HQ. I know that sounds kind of funny, but it's true. We're a lot more productive at home than we actually were at HQ. I still do have a few resources that do go into the office. I have a few associates out of the 42 that I help manage. I have about 4 or 5 that still like to go into the office twice a week, usually Tuesdays and Thursdays, because they like to see each other and they like to work with each other. But other than that, the rest of my associates all work from home Monday through Friday. So it's kind of nice. Anywhere in the contiguous 48 states, we're allowed to work. For Cincinnati Insurance IT department, I have a few associates out in Colorado, Arizona, Virginia, South Carolina, Florida. It works very, very well. So we're very happy with that. Very, very we're proud of that. It's worked out well, and it's become a competitive advantage for our company. We're able to get resources from all across the United States, and it's become a way to attract talent because of the remote possibility. The next slide, I'll just talk to you about. It's our mission, our vision and our mission. We are an insurance company, and we try to be the best company serving independent agents. The insurance independent agent system is obviously agents that can sell multiple different companies insurance. We would just be one of those. We were actually started in 1950 by 4 independent agents. They didn't like the way they were being treated by the insurance companies that they were selling insurance for, so they decided to start their own insurance company. So they did. So in near downtown Cincinnati back in 1950, those 4 came together and started the Cincinnati Insurance Group, Cincinnati Insurance Companies. And since then, we've obviously grown from those initial 4 people. Now we're up over 5,500 now or so associates. About 900 of those are in IT, and about 300 of those IT associates are developers. Levels developer 1 through level 5. Our developer 1 position is kind of our entry-level developer, usually 0 to 2 years of experience in development. We hire people out of boot camps such as this. We hire people out of 2-year schools, 4-year schools, a variety of different types of backgrounds. And we've been very successful with that type of hiring procedure. And so we continue to do that. I work with multiple different boot camps in the Cincinnati area and beyond. We obviously work with 2- and 4-year schools as well, especially in the Midwest, but now we've expanded farther than that because of our remote work policy. Back to our vision as far as being the best company serving independent agents. We say that, our CEO says that in all of our quarterly town halls. It's one of the first things he always mentions. And it just kind of drives us to be the best we can be, serving those independent agents since we were started by 4 independent agents. The next slide is an infographic. It really talks about the type of company we are, as far as we're a top 25 property and casualty insurer in the United States. We sell personal lines, home and auto, We sell all different lines of business for commercial policies. We also sell life insurance, and that's the majority of what we do. We have some excess and surplus lines as well. So basically, any sort of insurance that falls outside of your standard personal or commercial kind of falls into that excess and surplus. We call it Cincinnati Specialty Lines Underwriters. We also have an office in London, which handles some of our more particular different type of insurance. We actually acquired that company through Lloyd's of London that handles some of our more unusual types of insurance. Usually it's insurance that falls outside of the standard type of insurance that we might sell. Being a top 25 insurer in the United States is something we take pride in. We have a large book of business. We have over $7 billion in written premium. So we're a decent sized insurance company with those 5,500 associates. One thing we pride ourselves on as well is we're rated by AM Best, the insurer rating company, as an A+. We're very happy with our financial stability. If you've talked to any other insurance companies, right, insurance isn't necessarily the sexiest industry out there in the United States, but we do pride ourselves on being careful with the risks that we take. We try to stay very highly financially stable. It has proved good for our company. We don't have layoffs and things like that, so it feels like we have a very secure job base here. And also for those that are invested in our stock, we give dividends, and we're very consistent with that. So it's a very financially stable company. So that's one thing I recommend to anybody, any new hire that I interview or I talk to. I worked for a friend of mine's startup about 10, 15 years ago, and it's much different than working for corporate America and working for an insurance company. If you're looking for the excitement of a startup and having 5 or 10 friends put a company together, that is not Cincinnati Insurance. I'll let you know that. We're very much just like a typical publicly traded American corporation, but we're highly stable, and the saying of insurance is kind of recession proof. That kind of holds true with our company. And obviously, even with the pandemic, we did very well as far as we didn't have large layoffs like you saw with some other companies, because we're very careful with our money, how we spend it, and very careful with what our costs are and where we spend our money. The next slide does talk a little bit more about the number of associates we have. I'll go a little bit deeper into the 300 developers that we have at our company. So we handle, obviously, different policy systems. So we have our personal lines policy system, which is, mainly personal auto and personal home insurance. That system is written in C#. We have our commercial lines policy insurance system, which is obviously all the commercial lines of business. That is also written in C#. We have our life policy system, which is actually a proprietary life system that we had purchased and have modified over the years. So that's a little bit different than a C# system, because it is proprietary and proprietary language involved there. I work with our claims group. That's one of the 3 IT areas that I help manage. Right now, we're currently using an SAP bot system that we've had around for a little over 20 years. The developers on that team are SAP ABAP developers. That's the language that they use for SAP. But we're currently switching over to a Guidewire claim system. We just put in our first line of business this past February. That is written in a language called Gosu, which is a proprietary Guidewire language, which is based off of Java. So if you've ever done Java, you'd probably recognize Gosu pretty quickly. Before I was a resource manager, I was a developer. I was a developer for different Java applications for 17 years. So obviously, I'm preferential to Java, but we do have a few Java applications. A lot of our shared services applications are written in Java. I was part of our doc management services area before I became an RM, and all of our services that we wrote there were all in Java. We also have, trying to think, in our IT financials group, another group that I help manage, It handles all of our HR payroll systems as well as our accounting systems. Since that is PeopleSoft, that's all written in people code. So obviously a little bit different than C# or Java, sort of COBOL-like, but that's a different type of technology that we have. So we have different technologies depending on when the application was brought into the company and what we were looking to do with that particular application might have driven whether we bought an application and brought it in or whether we built it from scratch in-house. But just to give you an idea of some of the different languages we use. Some of the ancillary things we do, obviously you have to be decent in SQL. So obviously SQL is another skill to have as a developer at our company. I do have a few developers that know how to write Python scripts, so that comes in handy. I have a sysadmin that writes Python scripts to be able to automate some of our more manual processes and claims, and that's come in handy that she was able to pick that up on her own, and then we were able to use that on and some of our processes and save some time. The next slide talks about our innovation teams. So back in 2019, our company decided that they wanted to create an innovation department. They hired a innovation director from a background of innovation teams from other companies. She came in and set up a team, and the reason why we did this is we felt as a company we have good products that we sell, good insurance products, but we could always do better. And part of that innovation department is to come up with new products. And so each year we run these innovation batch teams. Some are larger, some are smaller, depending on the type of idea that we're trying to expand upon. Just to give you an example, and these teams are made up of both business department associates as well as IT department associates. So we get cross-functional teams with different backgrounds and different ideas to try to come up with a new product or try to come up with better ways to implement or change our current products. I had an associate in my vendor management group last year that volunteered for one of these studio venture groups, and she was using about 10% of her time to spend with this cross-functional group to talk about management liability insurance. And what that is there's a particular insurance coverage for employment law. So if you own a small business and you have management liability insurance with our company, part of that insurance coverage covers your ability to talk to an employment lawyer and get help and get advice on how to handle if your associates sue you as a small company. Now, a lot of small companies don't have a large, say, HR staff, accounting staff, legal staff, and so they lack the resources to be able to handle lawsuits levied against them. Part of this venture group was to try to expand the awareness that these small companies that have our management liability insurance have this hotline available to them. And so my associate first of all learned about this because she didn't know about it when she first joined the group, but then also put together presentations and talked to a lot of field representatives of our company to try to expand the knowledge and the exposure to our insured. So those field reps would be able to go out and give a presentation to their commercial lines insureds and say, hey, you have this management liability insurance with us. It also comes with this hotline that you can use for free. It's part of your insurance policy. And if you ever get sued by one of your employees as a small business owner, you can talk to this lawyer for free and get advice on how to handle it, what paperwork you need to do, just be able to handle the situation. And so that's just a small example of some of our innovation teams and what they do and how they're trying to expand on different areas of our company to either make our insureds more productive or get exposure to our insureds that may help them with their company and their business that they're trying to run. Next slide talks about learning opportunities at our company. Other than IT, there's only one other department in our company that's fully remote. It's our call center, our claims call center. The rest of our departments all work a hybrid schedule. So they go into the office 50% of the time. So one of those departments is our learning and development department. Their job is to put on education for our company, for our associates. So currently we have, you can take in-person classes in our L&D department at our headquarters in Fairfield, Ohio. Or you can take online classes, and that's what we do in IT. We'll take all of our classes online for the most part, unless you want to go in. But 95% of our people take all of their classes online. They range from insurance classes to mandatory sexual harassment, building safety, kind of your standard corporate type of classes as well. We also partner with another learning platform that provides for our IT staff some technical classes. So that's another way that our IT staff can get trained on new, either new languages or other technologies that maybe they don't know about. They can go through our learning and development department to learn those new technologies. And me as a resource manager, I can also offer to my associates online training outside of our L&D department. So we like to use udemy.com, if you've ever heard of that. And we're also getting more involved with some of the Microsoft upskilling programs that are available to us as a Microsoft customer. So I can offer that to my associates so they can take online classes at their leisure whenever they want to, and the company will pay for that. We get an education budget through each IT director, and so we're allowed to use that money. We're encouraged to use that money, especially because we budget for that every year, and we would like to use every dollar of that in order to keep our staff fully skilled in whatever they need to know to do their job. Two other things that I want to mention about learning opportunities. We do have mentorship opportunities. We have, for someone that may start with our company as a new hire, as a developer one, we're going to assign you a mentor in whatever group that you get hired into. So say if you got hired into the IT claims area that I help manage, you might come in as a developer one. That mentor would probably be a developer 4, developer 5 that's in the group. They would walk you through, maybe you get assigned a piece of work from the application manager of that group. That mentor is there to help talk through that situation and that work with you, get you the lay of the land as far as the application that you're changing, what part of the application you're changing, how you go about that, how you would test it, how you would move it through our environments from a development environment to a test environment to a user acceptance to production, how you'd support it in production if an issue came up, and then kind of cycle back through that whole process again on your next piece of work. And that mentor is there to help you in the first 18 to 24 months of being a new hire at our company. Our plan is for every developer 1 to become a developer 2 by 24 months with the company. And that mentor that is assigned to you is there to get you to that. And we have almost 100% success rate by getting our dev 1s to dev 2s within 24 months, as well as our mentors doing a good job in helping those dev 1s. And the mentor is also there to help get you acclimated to the group that you're in, get you acclimated, obviously, to all the applications that you may be touching, but also to the larger IT department and who you may interact with outside of your group, and then even the larger corporation. When you're getting pulled into town hall meetings, when you're getting involved in employee resource groups, we have 5 of those right now. Whenever you're getting involved in our quality weeks, Arts Wave, any sort of corporate sponsored programs, that mentor is also there to help you get involved in those programs too. So you get to not only see what the piece of work that you're working on and how it affects the application that you're on, but also get you involved in the larger corporation. So you get to see what all is available to you as a Cincinnati Insurance associate. Oh, and the last one, Toastmasters. We have 2 Toastmasters clubs. If you've ever heard of Toastmasters, it's an international speaking group. They also do leadership as well. I was a Toastmasters club president at a former employer for a couple of years, so I highly recommend Toastmasters. I used to hate public speaking. I would never do a presentation like this before going through Toastmasters, but now I'm much more comfortable doing public presentations. I highly recommend Toastmasters. We have a lot of people involved in our 2 clubs, And it's just a nice way to get better at public speaking in a very non-threatening environment, right? You're there with other coworkers. They're all there to help you. You're there to help them. I remember my first Toastmasters speech that I gave. It was a 5-minute icebreaker about something personal to me. I think I talked about playing tennis or something like that. And part of Toastmasters is you have somebody that counts all of your crutch words. So my crutch word was I think in a 5-minute speech, I said 35 times. And so that's one thing that I've worked on over the years. So I try not to say in any of my public speaking. And I have gotten better at it, but I do slip up still once in a while. Key benefits for full-time associates is our next slide. It's pretty much what you would see from most corporate America. Benefits, pay time off, 401k, group life, company day events. If you're ever in the Cincinnati area, if you've ever been to Kings Island, that's where we have our company day every April. It's free to associates. Stock ownership plan. We get stock awarded to us for every year that we work for the company. So this past year, I worked for the company 8 years, so I got eight pieces of stock in November. We also have bonuses and other stock in February that we get based on how the company did the previous year. So we did pretty well in 2024. So I got stock compensation in February from that. So that was nice as well. We have employee assistant programs. So basically we use Life Matters, which is a company that offers employee assistant programs, things like help with mental illness or mental struggles, things with personal or family matters, financial matters, things like that. Pretty much anything that you may have a problem with, the company offers this, and it is confidential between you and the representative from Life Matters. So basically when an associate comes to me and says, hey, I think I need some help, I'm having some trouble at home, or I'm having some trouble with dealing with a certain issue, I can offer this to any of my associates. All I do is give them the 1-800 number, and I say, you call this number, you'll get a representative, and they'll walk you through the whole program. I don't get involved any more than that unless the associate wants me involved. But it's a very nice program because it covers so many different things. I've had several associates that have gone through different traumas in life, whether it's losing a loved one, whether it's marital issues, just a myriad of different issues there or things that they were going through. They used our Life Matters employee assistance program, and it helped give them the resources they need to get through the situation that they were in. So I highly recommend that to any of our associates. One last thing about benefits that we offer at Cincinnati Insurance, we really try to work on a work-life balance. I know some companies are better at that than others. I've worked for 6 or 7 companies, and I know most of the companies I work for were very good about work-life balance. Some were not, but we try to pride ourselves on that here at Cincinnati Insurance. We know we're going to have ups and downs. We're going to have peaks and valleys. My IT claims area just went through one of those peaks where we put the new Guidewire application into production for one line of business in February. Those were some long weeks leading up to and following, but that's an anomaly compared to their usual work week. Most of our IT staff is going to work between 40 and 45 hours a week. Most probably average about 42 hours. They're going to get their assignments. They're going to get their due dates. They're going to go through their daily stand-ups and their different agile ceremonies. And that's going to be their normal developer work life from one week to the next. But you will have peaks and valleys where you might have an application you're working on and you're putting it in production for the first time, and you have to put in a few extra hours the weeks preceding and maybe the weeks after to handle any production support issues. But other than that, that's usually the exception, not the rule. And we try to do that. And the big reason we do that is really for keeping our employees happy and for retention rates, because what we've seen over the years is If we want to keep our retention rates high, we definitely want to keep that work-life balance as balanced as we possibly can. That's why we have associates that have worked for the company 20, 30, 40 years, because they've gotten that work-life balance over the years. So we definitely strive for that every week. That's everything in my presentation. So I'll open it up to questions. Feel free to ask me anything about the company. I can let you know what I know, and if I don't know, I'll let you know that as well.
Feel free to come off mute, by the way.
Yes, please.
All right, where do we apply?
So if you go to our website, cinfin.com, CINFIN, cinfin.com, go to our careers page. You'll look there for open opportunities. If we have, like, if you're a developer one, say, if you're an entry-level developer looking for a position, look for our IT developer one positions, apply there. And then if you do, since we've talked in this presentation, feel free to reach out to me on LinkedIn. Feel free to reach out to me on LinkedIn either way. But especially if you do apply for one of our positions, reach out to me on LinkedIn. The resource managers like myself, we're the ones that actually post those jobs. So if it's not a job that I posted, but you let me know that you applied, I can go talk to that resource manager, find out exactly what they're looking for, put your name in to get your foot in the door, or get you to the top of the list of an interview list. Any way that I can try to help you get that interview, I will do so, because that's really your best way to try to get your foot in the door. Go ahead, Lisa.
Hi. I wanted to ask. Oh shoot! Did I just lose it? What is your favorite thing about working there?
So what I like is, since I was a developer, now I get to help developers as their resource manager. That's the best thing that I like. When I was a developer, obviously I like working here as well. I worked on a really good team. I had some really good teammates. It was fun. It was challenging. It was enjoyable. But when I got a chance to become a resource manager, that gave me the opportunity to help developers. And so I kind of know what they've gone through since I went through it myself. So that's the most rewarding part of my job, is trying to be able to help those developers. Obviously, I do their annual reviews, so I have to assess how they're doing their job. But I also get to do one-on-ones with them monthly, so I get to talk to them about what's good, bad, or indifferent about their job and try to help them with that, try to navigate that. I get to help them with career progression, so I write promotion recommendations. When I have a developer that's ready for the next level, I get to do that. That's always fun to get to see people get promoted. Obviously, helping them with education assistance in any way that I can. If people are looking to switch groups and they need to learn a different language, trying to help them navigate that and get them the education they need. Retaining associates, obviously, trying to keep my associates as happy as possible. We have a lot of good associates, and we don't want them to leave, so I do what I can to help retain them. So to me, that's my favorite part of the job, and I'm glad that Cincinnati Insurance has resource managers to allow me to do that, because I know a lot of companies don't have resource managers. So it's kind of nice to have that opportunity.
Thank you.
Yep.
Amy asked, does Cincinnati Insurance have data analyst positions?
Yes, we do. So we have mainly in our business intelligence data management group is where we mostly have our data analysts. So you will find positions posted out there for that group every so often on our website. It will be listed as most likely a data analyst for that BIDEM group. But yes, we do use that heavily. They use Cognos. I'm trying to think what other software they use in that area. But that's where the majority of our data analysis is being done, is in that business intelligence data management group. So that's where you'd find a data analyst position. And just to give everyone a heads up, because our company is pretty careful about how we spend our money and how we grow, we don't necessarily have a ton of positions out there at any one time, but it's basically need-based postings. So if someone leaves the company, if someone switches groups and leaves an opening in their previous group, or if we're expanding groups, maybe we might be expanding an application area, and so we need more people. Those are the reasons why you'll see postings on our website. So they could change from week to week depending on the need. I can't go and hire everybody I want to hire, otherwise I would have hired a lot more people. But I am given a head count limit based on those needs. So usually at the beginning of the year is when we get new head count. So a lot of times you may see extra postings in January or February, but those postings can be throughout the year depending on the need and the movement of our associates from group to group. So just keep that in mind as well, that you may not see something this week, but if you come back in 2 weeks, you may see something out there. So just keep stopping back to our website if you would.
I will say it's a job board that I check often for others, and it does update really regularly. So bookmark it. It is worth bookmarking. I'll put the link for it in the chat. So definitely check into that often. And let's see, another question in QA. Let me go to it. Chelsea asked, so what's the spread on remote positions?
So in IT, it's fully remote. So if you're going for an IT position, it's fully remote. It'll be listed that way in the on the job posting. All of our other areas, except for claims call center is remote as well. But all of our other business areas are hybrid, and it'll be listed that way in the posting. They have to be in the office 50% of the time. But all of our IT positions are fully remote. I shouldn't say that, except for some of our desktop positions are in the office because they have to be there to support our business people that are still going 50% of the time. But for a developer position, a data analyst position, our software configuration analysts, our system administrators, most IT positions are 100% fully remote, and it'll be listed that way in the posting. If you ever have a question about that, feel free to reach out to me and ask me about it. If it's not my posting, I can go talk to the RM that did post it. But yeah, most of our positions are 100% remote. As long as you're somewhere in the 48 contiguous states, most likely there won't be a reason why you can't work remote. Our HR department does check all the employment laws across all the different states because there can be different employment laws based on state. But I haven't seen any that have been rejected since 2021. I haven't seen any rejected from the 48 contiguous states. Actually, I'm just bringing on a contractor in a couple weeks, and she works in South Carolina. She'll be working from her house in South Carolina. Any other questions? Thank you, Chelsea. Thank you for participating and listening. I appreciate it.
So are they currently looking for web dev positions at this moment, or is this an eventuality that's going to happen in the next couple months or so?
I didn't see any out there currently, but again, it's based on need. So if there is a need for a web developer, that posting would be put out there, and then you could apply for it and just let me know if you do apply, so I could put in a good word for you. But I don't know of any needs currently, but that could change depending on what are the movement of resources or the needs of particular application areas.
Cool beans. I think I just found you on LinkedIn, so I'll send a connect.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Anyone else? Any other questions?
Hi, Steve. Thank you so much for taking this time.
Sure.
I do see that at this moment, in IT, there's only a testing engineer position available, but of course, we're going to keep on checking. I just wanted to make sure where are the languages that I have to have so that you recommend. Of course, I did get here that we use lots of Java and COBOL. Of need to SQL. You did mention that somebody really helped with the automations of claims because of Python knowledge.
Yep.
And so my question is, because I'm really interested in next spring going to the theme park with everybody. I'm crazy for roller coaster. I'll only ride on the first row.
Nice, nice.
And but right now I'm just learning here Python, and we're gonna learn SQL too, and pandas and things like that. And I was wondering if that would be enough to aspire for a position, or if I really need to learn more of Java, just because trying to figure out what I need to know so I can be prepared.
Sure, sure. Definitely C# and Java are probably your two best bets as far as being able to be considered for any position. Most positions are going to list C# or Java, having some sort of experience there. So I would start with those, learn those as best you can or as much as you can, either Java or C#. Then beyond that, yeah, any other ancillary or any other supporting languages, whether you're learning SQL, whether you're learning Python, whether you're learning Angular, I mean, even newer languages like React, Kotlin, things like that. If you hear about any of those, getting yourself exposed to any of those or learning any about that, that's one more thing that you can list on your resume. So I would say expand into any of those areas if possible. But definitely C# and Java are going to be the two languages that get you in the door probably the fastest. The more you can learn about Java and C# will open up as many avenues as possible, because those are most of our applications are either in C# or Java. So that would be your best bet, I'd say.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Steve.
Yep.
What if we can tell the difference between Java and JavaScript?
It's good, right? That's obviously good to be able to tell the difference. And I've done both, and obviously the Java portion of my knowledge helped me for 17 years being a Java developer. It wasn't till later on in that I was mostly a backend developer, so obviously knowing Java, the language, helped me with all the backend development. I didn't get into front end development till later in my career when I started learning JavaScript and HTML and things like that. And but definitely having that Java base really helped, right? Because it allowed me to write a lot more code, a lot more back-end code, obviously. But having JavaScript helps. But if you could have the full-fledged language like Java or C#, that would help you even more. That'd give you even more avenues to pursue.
That's my Achilles heel at this point, because I took a software dev cohort, and then a web dev cohort, and then a UI UX cohort, and I've kind of picked up TypeScript and G code along with that, but the Java is the one thing I haven't touched. So it's not to say I couldn't learn it. I'm just going to need a few months.
Yeah, it just takes time, right? It just takes time. And the thing is, once you learn one language, it's usually pretty easy to switch to another, because if you understand the concepts, then it just becomes a syntactical difference, and then you just learn the syntax. But if you have the concepts of a full-fledged language, you can kind of switch from one to the next easier. So yeah, just keep pursuing it, and you'll get there. And one thing too, and this is obviously plugging company outside of Cincinnati Insurance as well, but there's lots of companies that will look for maybe more front end than back end. And so learning a lot of the front end languages might help you get those type of like UX, UI type of positions as well, right? So obviously I would rather have you at Cincinnati Insurance, but if you don't find that at our company, obviously look at other companies and look for those UX, UI positions as well, if you have more of a front end background. Because I know those positions exist out there at a lot of companies. So if that's something you like to do and you're good at, or you want to get good at, feel free, or obviously continue to look for positions like that. Even if it's not at our company, I highly encourage you to look for those, because those are there's more out there than what there used to be. Any other questions? Well, thank you very much for having me. Thanks for listening. I appreciate the time. I appreciate being able to hopefully help you a little bit in your career journey here. And again, feel free to reach out to me on LinkedIn, connect with me there. And if you do apply for one of our positions, please let me know.
Yeah, thanks a lot for stopping in and talking to us. Really appreciate it. Again, if you need Steve's contact information, I can always send you his LinkedIn as well. I believe we're connected, and so we can get you connected if you forget or can't find him. So no problem.